Hello! So yesterday I made a video and I was talking about this deck, which is the Velvet Heart Tarot. And I was thinking about it, and I'm susceptible to anxiety. And I was thinking, oh my god, I hope I didn't I hope I wasn't misunderstood, because I this is a pretty girl deck. It's a very girly deck, and it's a pretty girls deck. And I was talking about the the glamour like in Hollywood, glamour actresses, but also the glamour, like the how we are perceived. And I don't ever want anyone to think that I thought it was superficial. I'm not talking about superficiality at all. That's not my point here. What I was trying to explain is that I recognize the time and effort into, and it is a sort of magic. It is, glamour, makeup, clothes, fashion, accessories, and everything, hair, um, everything that is represented in these cards. It may be perceived as superficial, but it is a lot of effort that my ADHD brain can never wrap his mind around. It minds around. And so it's really something that I am not. Saying that with all due respect, it's just something that I'm not into fashion. I'm not into you know I have a hard time presenting myself in the best way possible, and that's what I was looking for this deck. That's why I wanted to use this deck. It's find the way to present myself as best as I can. And that is, by that, I'm not saying that I need a makeup tutorial. That's not that's not what it is. It is how can I, put the effort and the motivation to present myself the best I can. Yeah. So in that way, this deck is very inspiring. Also, I love the fact that it's girly. It's girly girl. It's pink, and the suits are pearls and roses and crystals and disco balls. Like it's so girly and pink and glamorous. It's glamorous. And so since I wanted to clarify this, I was thinking I would maybe try to pair it. Let's try to pair it with some decks that I own. And it seems to be not a problem, but it seems to be hard. So I'm gonna try. So what's the attributes of this deck? It's very girly, it's collage, it's very pink, and it's very small. That is one thing, because I chose some decks that I would call big energy. And again, I don't want to be misunderstood. This to me doesn't feel like big energy in the way that the cards are very small. And also, it's mostly one person on the card. And it's very human people. Granted, those women looks like goddesses, but it's really human. It's close to the human experience. And so, the not every human experience, mind you, but anyway, I understand what I mean here. So I was thinking about some decks. Okay, first of all, because it's very girly and it's pink, I was thinking what deck is very boy, manly, and blue. And I chose the Arcane Warrior Tarot just to see the contrast, right? And because these are big cards, like let's compare. These are big cards here. I thought maybe one of these cards, and then we'll see how it goes. But let's shuffle this a little bit. And that one. Also, I feel like the backs kind of fits, like the girly one with the rose and the boy one with the blue diamond. I don't know, it kind of goes together. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with this one. Let's start with this one here. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, there's noise outside. In the summertime, I have to put the AC in the window so I cannot close it. So whenever there's noise outside, I can hear it very well. So this card, the moon, I see true illusions. How fun. I see true illusion. And we were talking about the glamour and the way we are perceived. That may be an illusion, but it may be an illusion, but it's also our choices to be perceive in a certain way, right? So let's see through the illusion. Let's take 3 cards over here just to see here. Oh. Okay, here. Okay, I'm gonna try to make everything happen on screen. Okay. First card. Page of Cups. 2 of Swords. And 6 of Cups. Okay, we can't see it, so I'm gonna put it there. Kind of that way. Okay, it doesn't look like anything fancy, but that's gonna be it for now. Okay. So, I see through illusions. There is this Page of Cups, so the more immature of emotions, or the earth version of the emotions. But this is very Rider-Waite-Smith coded, and I don't really read. I don't read the court cards the same way I read the court cards of the Thoth. So, but it's another layer. Maybe the earth part of Cups. But what I see at the first glance is a little girl, and it's a girl star. I don't know who she is. Is it Shirley Temple, or at least Shirley Temple-esque? A little girl, and I am asked to see. I see through illusions, and so knowing what we know about the star system, this girl might be, not having as much fun as she presents here. Let's just say that. Then we have the 2 of Swords, which might be a choice we have to make, or a unclear choice, or a choice I have to make. When I think of the 2 of Swords, I think of a choice I have to make without knowing everything I have to know to make a a known choice, right? And then the Six of Cups, again referring to the childhood or childish. As you see, this is a grown woman, but she's surrounded with teddy bears and stuffed animals. And so see through the illusions. It's so weird because, well, this is very personal. I shouldn't open my heart that way in public, but I'm, for some reasons that I'm not going to explain here, I am going through a lot of my childhood stuff. And so this definitely encouraged me to try to see beyond my personal memory, you know? And there's a lot of reflection on the... There's a lot of reflections that I have about what kind of choices I made. You know, sometimes I try to tell myself, oh, I would do this differently or I would do that differently. But truth is, I did my best at the time with, you know, with the knowledge I had and with the tools I had. So it is very hard. It is a lot for me to forgive my past self. You know, I ruminate a lot. I am someone who ruminates a lot, and I'm thinking a lot of, you know, I go through scenes I've been through, thinking how I should have act or rewriting the scenario, rewriting the story. But it is hard. It is hard but necessary to remember that we've done our best at the moment, even if that best was nothing. Even if we did nothing, or we feel we did nothing, it was the best we could do in the moment. So yeah, that's the adult look on the childhood, trying to see other perspective than my own, see through the illusions. Okay. This was supposed to be a fun video about pairing decks, but turns out it's a personal reading that I should not share on the internet. But anyway, it's fun. So basically, it works. It works well. They're great. They are great together. Okay, I'm not gonna do another example. Maybe I should, like, I don't know, compare cards. I don't even want to do that. This is a good pairing. I'm gonna keep it in mind. I'm gonna play with it later. Okay. Another idea I had based strictly on the visual is the Goblins and Gardens tarot deck, because I'm playing with this deck a lot. I have been playing with this deck a lot, and because of kind of, yeah, the collage aspect, and also because it's a contrast between very earthy and out of this world creature versus a very tangible, very not superficial. Again, that's not the word I'm looking for, but very materialistic, very materialistic, and very human, like from this world, as opposed to creature from outer world, and very earthy, very earthy world and simple world. So I thought maybe the contrast between the two would be interesting. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do this. that's not how I would do a reading, but I'm in front of a camera, so that's gonna be it. So again, because those cards are larger, I'm just gonna take one of these. Will I take just one? Ooh, King of Coins. That's so funny. That's so funny to have the King of Coins. Because we were talking about materialism, or, you know, the aspect of owning things. And the King of Coins is like dominating the material world. So that's interesting. Okay, maybe a card or two, I don't know, maybe this one here. Okay, get this one here, maybe another one. Okay, this one here. So again, Ace of Coins, Strength. Oh, this Strength card is so cool. And Knight of Swords. Okay, so oops, I tried to put everything on screen. It's not great, but well, there you go. I think we have everything here. So this King of Swords with, you know, usually, because I do it this way for the camera, but usually I would surround one card with the others. So the King of Coins followed by this very girly Ace of Coin, which is the absolute opposite of the coin spectrum, right? And then we have Strength and Knight of Swords. Strength and Knight of Swords calling me for action, calling me for knowing where I am maybe on this spectrum, knowing where I am using my strength. And Knight of Swords would be in the action, right? Like, I like to see the Knight of Swords as someone who do before they think. And so, you know, sometimes it can lead to catastrophes, but sometimes you just have to act. You just, like, you're not gonna if you wait for the, you know, this old saying, if you wait for the right moment, you're gonna wait forever. Like, sometimes you just have to act even if you don't know, so move and do. So I like this idea of, you know, having this big King of Coins, which I definitely, sometimes I do perceive myself as the King of Coins, which is very earthy, and I'm a Taurus, so it's very earthy. And the Ace of Coins, remembering where I started, that's an interesting lesson. Remembering where I started before I embodied the King of Coins. Strength, and, you know, strength, power, and action. But it's funny how there is no, even though there is a sword card, I don't see the any thinking in this reading. So that's interesting. Maybe I think too much. I definitely think too much before acting. That's a thing I do. And yes, embodying this King of Coins. Again, looking for how, again, I would probably put the cards in this setting. Embodying this King of Coins, but remembering where I start from, and knowing that I have the resources, I have this strength to be able to act on it. Okay, That's enough. See, I was going to just do a little pairing videos like Don Michelle, be like, look how it looks together, great. And now I'm like analyzing myself way too much on camera. Okay, so next, I thought because of big energy, I thought of the goddess deck. And the one I chose is the Doreen Virtues Goddess Guidance Oracle cards, which I got for 10 Canadian dollars, which is like $5 in US dollars. No, maybe not 5, maybe 7, maybe 6. I don't know. With tariff, maybe 150. I don't know. So, yes, because I was thinking about one big energy, and then the one big energy from actual goddesses, and then those women who looks like goddesses but are very human. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. That's a terrible fanning, but let's see. Ooh, I'm called here. Okay. This one is Sedna, infinite supply, infinite supply. So act on what you want to do, because you have infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. That's so funny. That's the that should go with the reading I just did. Damn. Infinite supply. So okay, I'm gonna ask the question how. Oops, I try to do it the best way I can. Okay, I'm gonna ask how I should act on my, well, where do I go from here? Now that I have all the supplies that I need, where do I go from here? So I'm just gonna put it up there for a second. Where do I go from here? Okay, this card. Ace of Cups. Oh, that's so funny, because I was talking to a friend at work, and they told me how they went through. Oh, I'm not sure I want to talk in details, but anyway, they are ready to go on the market and find love, and try to find love anyway. And so, oh, that's so funny. I was thinking, it reminded me of, okay, yes, now I do have all the supplies. Like I am in a good place psychologically and financially. And I've always said how I'm good by myself. I'm good being alone. I love my me time. But also, sometimes it would be fun to share moments with someone I love. So, and it is the beginning of maybe, or at least it's the first step. It is the first push in this direction. So let's see, maybe another card. What I have here, Page of Wands. Ugh. Speaking of, again, the more immature from the fire suit. So this is definitely where I am, where I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to. I will be rejected. How this will feel, I don't know. I mean, I know it's gonna feel terrible, but So yes, I'm still like not into the action yet. That's my problem. I am one of those people who wants to wait for the right moment to do anything, and so I end up doing nothing. But just for one last card, because we took three for each reading, so one last card. What it is? Five of Swords. Okay, yeah, I'm way into my head. And I'm way into my head. And I do feel like this is funny because I think it's Betty Page. Not sure. But anyway, it looks like Betty Page. And so, yes, I feel like I'm way too much in my mind. And in my mind, I'm way too much in competition with people. You know what I did yesterday? I unfollowed, I think, 300 people on Instagram, and it was all guys. I'm a little bit ashamed of that, but it was all guys I was following only based on their beauty. So if you're watching this and I still follow you, I'm not saying you're ugly. On the opposite, you're probably very hot. But I don't follow you just because you're hot. I have another reason to follow you. So what I did, and it was like crazy, at least 300. You know how many male models are on Instagram. And I just went there and unfollowing everyone because it is very painful to compare yourself to what you see either on Instagram or the dating app. You see people like they have 8 pictures and it's in different countries. I'm like, well, we don't have the same kind of life. Or, you see people in chests, like shirtless, and they look great. And I'm like, well, they can't possibly find me interesting in any way if they have abs, you know. So it is a mental issue because they don't even know I exist. I am here looking at profiles or Instagram account, minding myself, like convincing myself that they could not possibly get any interest from me. But I do have to remember that I have all the supplies. I am interesting. I am in a good place financially, psychologically. I'm funny as hell. I'm cute. I'm cute too. I don't look like a underwear model, but I'm cute. And I do have things to offer. So I have to remind myself of that. Okay, so the last one. Okay, I had three. Oh my God, I had 3 more. I don't know if I'm gonna go through all of them because this takes a lot more time than I expected. Well, I don't half-has I don't half-has anything, I think. No, I don't agree. I do half-has some things sometimes, but I don't know. I just can't stop. So do I go through all of them? Okay, I'll try. I have the Mythic Oracle. That was my very first intentional buy of an oracle, because when I learned about oracle decks, when I learned that it was a thing, I was like, but I want, for sure there is one about Greek gods, right? The Greek mythology, and be sure there was one. So my way of thinking was the same as the goddess guidance. I was like, I'm gonna have a big energy, a big god energy, and then maybe a masculine god, maybe a feminine god, I don't know. We'll see how it interacts with the other cards. Okay. That was a terrible shuffle, by the way. But I'm around a tripod, so forgive me. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. Ooh, Chiron. Healing. Oh, wow. That's interesting because I don't associate Chiron with healing, though it is like I see it. I do. But I usually associate Chiron with learning. He's often depicted as the Hierophant in tarot decks. Let's see. Can I go to the guidebook? I usually don't with this deck because I know my myths enough, but I'm just curious to see. Healing. Okay, the myth, I don't need that. All healing requires a sacrifice. Well, wait, maybe I do need that. Centaur, creature, half man, half horse. Yeah, I know. Being immortal, he could not die, but he suffered great pain. Chiron and Heracles convinced Zeus to allow Chiron to give up his immortal life in exchange for the life of Prometheus, whom Zeus was torturing for stealing fire and giving it to man. Chiron was then placed in the sky as the constellation Sagittarius. Oh yeah, Sagittarius. By the way, I am a Sag rising, so I'm Taurus, Sagittarius rising, and my moon is in Aquarius. So it's easy to remember because it's us. Taurus, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. It's all about us. What about us? Okay, so I still feel like it's more about learning than healing, but let's see what the small cards are saying. Oof. Six of Wands. Okay. It is about learning, I feel. Six of Wands, the world. And the Lovers. Well, it does follow up with the last reading, right? Because we were talking about love. But also, so yeah, I do feel like it's more about learning than healing. But it's both because I healed or I'm in a path of healing, I now allow myself to, be proud of myself, be proud. And you know what? Now to think of it, I feel like healing and learning are goes hand in hand, because you healed, you learned, and because you learn, you heal. Right? It makes sense. So. Six of Wands. The Six of Wands remind me of being proud of this, of the past. I was talking about the childhood and how I perceive my childhood. There is some proud to get from there because I survived. I survived and I'm stronger and I can parade and I can parade with a disco ball and let the world see me like I'm reaching. I can see the end of, not the end like death, but I can see the end of this cycle. Yes, I do see the end of this cycle, thinking, because again, I'm working on my childhood traumas on the side, not on camera. But since I'm working on it, I feel like, yes, it comes full circles and I can end this cycle. I'm there. I'm going there. I'm going to the right place, and the last card is the lovers. And so I just mentioned how I'd be I would start feeling ready to get into it. We had the Two of Swords earlier, thinking of a choice, but with the blindfold, right? A choice where you don't know the exact, you don't know where the the choice you have to make will lead you, but you don't have all the information. That's what I meant. But then the lover, which is romantic, sure, it's love, and it is applying to this reading. It is also about the choice, and the choice for the lover is both a bigger life changing choice, but it can also see, and I see it often as a choice where you actually know where you're going. I mean, you don't always have all the information, but when I see the lover instead of the lover as a choice card, as opposed to the Two of Swords, I'm like, okay, but you know a lot more to about where you're going. And so I do, because I've been of those apps, and also I know myself. I know myself a lot more. I've been working at Came Full Circle. I've been analyzing myself for many years, and so I know better where I'm going. And now I have to make the choice. Where am I going with this? But it feels more safe. It feels more secure because I know better. I have more information than before, and so that's great. I love that too. Visually, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about. I was talking about this deck being like about superficial thing. Like I don't want to use superficial because it has a bad connotation, but you know what I mean. Like what society wrongfully says it's superficial, like makeup and pearls and jewels and dress and fashion. But this to me would be superficial to compare like the artwork and does it match, does it not. I feel like as different those decks are, they are speaking together. Or maybe I'm just like in a good mood and I see I see what I want to see. I don't know, but I'm in a very good mood. Okay, I have two more. Oh my god, that feels like a lot. Okay, maybe I can try do both of these decks. Okay, I was thinking big energy and collage, so I was thinking about the Telesma Tarot. I really like this deck. Okay, I got everything. This is the only one deck that I shuffle sideways because the cards are way too big. No, they're not too big. They are big, but not too big. Okay, that was terrible. Usually I do it better. Okay. Okay, so what is our big energy here? What is, oh my god, I found it so big. Okay, I'm just gonna play with them. Okay, what is the big energy here? Oh, this one. My god, I don't usually I just fan them like in a row. I don't I don't do that, but it's fun. It's fun. We're having fun. Are you having fun? I'm having fun. I have the Four of Coins. Okay, going back to what I was saying, like I have the what was the word? The supply. I have the supplies. Yes, I do have the supplies. So, okay, where do we go from here? Maybe this is telling me that I hang on too much on my supplies, or maybe I'm just secure enough. Let's see. That reminds me of being secure with my supplies. Page of Swords. Oh, okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe I know about myself because turns out that was the reading, apparently. Maybe I know more about myself, but I don't know that much about the material stuff. Let's see. Death and Four of Cups. Okay. So, okay, it feels like I should be more observant in that area because this feels like I'm going, I don't know enough about the material stuff. And that doesn't mean that I don't have it. I have, I'm secure. I am in a financial security, but maybe I don't know enough about finances and business. And so I don't know, maybe I could enter, shed my skin and enter a new era of that. I don't know. That one puzzled me. I think I'm gonna go back and look at it. Maybe I get bored. That's another possibility. I get bored emotionally. Maybe I get bored emotionally because of the idea that I have enough. Not that I am enough, but that I have enough. That's interesting. Okay, one last, and then I'll let you go. I mean, you can leave whenever you want. But I was thinking that very precious girly girl would go amazingly in contrast with the savage mother, savage witch that is the Dirty Offerings. So let's see. Do I go with this? I want to try the opposite this time. I want to try to get one of these as the energy, the big energy. Let's talk about the Three of Swords. So the possibility of sadness and being in a bad place psychologically. Is that the point of the whole reading? Like being satisfied with where I am physically makes me less aware of where I am mentally. Oh no, there. Which one? Shapeshift. Okay, I need another one. Shapeshift. And veil. Okay. I feel like a great a great danger for me to going back to this page of page of wands, going back to this page of wands, being like, oh, maybe I should start making my first step into the dating scene again, going back on the market. Maybe this feels like a great reminder of, I know it's shape shifting, but the danger of, yes, shape shifting, changing who you are. And it's very, every single time I was on the dating scene, even if I'm confident with who I am, even if I love myself, even if I'm getting better at loving myself, those first moments are always, those first moments when you meet someone is always a bit hard. It's always a bit hard because it feels like, okay, I'm not gonna say how much, I don't know, I'm just playing around here, but I'm not gonna say how much I love Melrose Place because it's gonna scare them away. Or, oh, I remember this beautiful video by Sarah at Coyote Tarot. At one point, she said, okay, I kind of want to date again, but when do we bring this up? The tarot, the spirituality. When do we bring this up? And I thought it was very interesting. It's a very good thought because I don't know when, I live in a small apartment. There is a room where this big table is with tarot decks and my journals and my mala beads and my rosaries. And there is things happening here, and these things are important to me. But I don't feel like it's a good opener to who I am. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. But in a world that is very disconnected with spirituality, and even people who pretend to be religious are completely disconnected with spirituality, how is it perceived? How is it received? When do we reveal the when do we raise the veil on who we are really and our practice and what we do? Yeah, we all want to avoid being heart ached. We all want to avoid heartache, but we also don't want to shapeshift into something we are not. So, oh, you know what? That's a very good. I'm glad we end on this because that's a very good reminder. Like, okay, you're gonna make your first steps into. Oh, do I have it here? No, I don't have it close. But remember, keep in mind the Page of Wands. Yeah, I don't find it quickly, but keep in mind the Page of Wands. Remember, like we are in the first steps, and though, yes, we love ourselves, we are in a good position emotionally, psychologically, and financially. We are in a good position to take those few first steps. Remember that you have to stay yourself and be ready to avoid the temptation of changing who you are to be more liked. Yeah, that doesn't mean that. That's interesting as a combo because keeping a veil on a part of yourself is not shape-shifting in someone you are not, right? So you can keep some things for yourself at first without becoming somebody else. But then also, why would I keep secrets? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have a date and I'll get back to you on the results. I don't know. But I think it's interesting. Like, is keeping things for yourself at first, like you don't have to you don't have to expose yourself entirely on the first date, right? You don't cut open yourself and let everything out on the first date, but that doesn't mean you're not yourself. Yeah. Okay, I'll meditate on that. This needs more thoughts. Okay, so anyway, this is not the video I was planning for today, but I paired the deck, I guess. Okay, thank you for being here. I'll see you next week. Bye.